أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Continue inshallah on last session. Before we start talking about the teenagers, we're going to talk a little about some of the points we're mentioning. And I feel honestly that these introductions and these foundations that we're talking about, this is the key, because a lot of it is what is missing. We need to be reminded about it if we know it, and be taught if we don't know it, in order to act upon it. Because no matter what we say on how to raise a teenager, how to raise it, if you don't have the proper foundation and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're not going to do it properly, inshallah ta'ala. So I noticed something though before, when it came to my jokes, you guys laughed about most of them, mashallah, except for the British football thing. You guys took it offensively, akhi. No, man, So the brother in the back, he was doing like this. I thought he was saying time up, but I still had 2 minutes. So he was telling me like, no, British football, you can't talk about British football, man. So I mean, you guys took it offensively, akhi, about the... But I noticed one thing. I never used to watch football. But what happened, I was filming my new TV show. I don't know if any of you saw it or not, Tarbiyah. It's on Huda TV. It came on this Ramadan. So I was filming before Ramadan, and it was all Algerians who I was working with. They were filming, And these guys are like crazy about football, So I found myself naturally watching the game with them, the Algerian game. Even though I don't normally watch football. But nonetheless, I realized, Algeria, they did pretty good, mashallah. But I realized, living in the Arab world and coming to the UK a lot, that there are a lot of similarities. They both love football, but they're not very good at it. Be honest, they're not very good, The British and the Arabs, they love it, mashallah. They're into the football, but they're not too great at it. So we joke with the British guys, because actually, it's their game, not our game, the football, right? Like when it comes to the English, we say we don't understand what you're saying, but they get offended because they say you're speaking our language. Say, but we understand. You understand what I'm saying, but we can't catch you sometimes, because of the accent. So it's different, alhamdulillah. But nonetheless, when it comes to the football, we say now we're better than you. So what they say now, because who was the famous American player who was very good? Howard. I saw. I was like, this guy looks like he's Salaf here. Something, the beard. What's going on with this one? Why was he good? Now you talk to some British guys. Say, oh yeah, that's because he plays where? Where does he play during the season? He plays in the British or the English Premier League. So that's what made him so good. No, so alhamdulillah. When we joke, people might be surprised. Like, the guy was on the minbar the other day. He's really serious, and now he's joking and stuff like that. Because obviously these seminars are a little bit longer, so we have to be a little, light-blooded, inshallah, as well to have fun, inshallah, as we continue. One of the key things that we need to focus on in our house, my dear brothers and sisters, is the issue of the Quran in our households. And the Quran was a major part of the Muslim Ummah when we were successful as an Ummah. But let's be honest, how much do we read the Quran outside of Ramadan? In Ramadan, mashallah, tabarak, Allahu Akbar. We read the Quran in Ramadan. How are we with the Quran outside of the household? And what the problem comes, once again, the parents encouraging the children to memorize the Quran, but what? They themselves don't read the Quran. Read the Quran, memorize the Quran, go to the madrasa. But you'll find the parent at home never opens the Quran. So you're giving the bad example. But what happens when a young child from a young age, he sees the parents reading the Quran. He sees the parents memorizing the Quran. Coming together and reading the Quran. He wakes up in the morning, Mama has her mushaf and Baba has his mushaf. Or perhaps they're reading something together. We come back to building the foundation. And one of the things I mentioned when I give the course about I call it Ummah building, which is in building the household and then raising the children, what have you. When it comes to raising the household, a beautiful story I heard from one of the Sheikhs, that him and his wife, when they got married, going back to be on the same page, they made a commitment when it came to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They said, we're going to read every day together 2 rub'as. How much is that? No, it's more than that. It might be like maybe 5-6 pages, something like that. When it comes to the juzu, how much of a juzu is it? It's like a fourth of the juzu, right? So if you read 2 rub'as every day, in 4 days you're going to finish the juzu. So it's not a lot. But what they did, they said it's going to be something small, but we're going to do it consistently. They sit down as a couple and they're going to read together. And he was saying, after so many years being married, and this was like, I saw this about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe it's no more now, inshallah. He said that him and his wife finished together the Quran 156 times. Allahu Akbar. 156 times they read together as husband and wife, as spouses, the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely. Now imagine the good deeds they're going to get Yawm al-Qiyamah, inshallah. But imagine also the effect it has on their children when they see mama and baba with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to remind our children why they need the Quran. It's not just custom. It's not just customary. You have the Quran in order to what? Get ajr. It's deeper than that. No doubt there's ajr in it. Why do we need the Quran? Why is the Quran so important? These are questions we need to ask our children. Get them to think about it so they know. Who can tell me? Why do we need the Quran? Guidance. Very good. It's a book of guidance. Hudan lil-muttaqeen. When you open the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Hudan lil-muttaqeen. It's shifa lima fi sudur. It cures what's in the heart. We need that. We need it in our lives. We have a lot of problems with our heart. We need to cure it. And the Quran is the cure for what's in our hearts. We need the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our lives, in our household. We need to teach our children why we need it and encourage them. Even if that means, and we should do this, pay attention, rewarding them. The kids are going to get happy about this one. Huh? Reward your kids if they memorize the Quran. Some people say, Ya akhi, it messes up the ikhlas. But when through experience, I've learned, I have a very good friend of mine, mashallah. He's a very successful businessman now. He memorized the entire Quran. Why did he memorize the Quran? Because he got paid to do it. Seriously, I'm serious. His father was encouraging him, do it. And he wasn't doing, inshallah. He's one of the Juzu Amma guys. From like, he's 4 to he's about 14, he's still in Juzu Amma. I'm getting there, inshallah. I'll be Amma yatasa'alun soon, inshallah. Huh? His father said, I will pay you. His father's very rich too, inshallah. Huh? He said, I will pay you to memorize. Because you get the reward. And what does he get in return, Yawm al-Qiyamah? The father. The crown. The Taj. He gets it Yawm al-Qiyamah, inshallah, for his son memorizing the Quran. So he encouraged him. MashaAllah. Now, the brother, after he memorized the entire Quran, MashaAllah, the ikhlas came with it. Maybe in the beginning it could have been a little bit of issue, but the ikhlas came. He came and he started leading the Taraweeh prayer, praying with the people, MashaAllah. Beautiful brother. His akhlaq is beautiful, his adab, his deen, MashaAllah, tabarakallah. And he's somebody who was, he's an engineer and he's a very, very successful and rich businessman now. Young guy, MashaAllah. But the Quran put barakah in his life. The Quran put barakah in his life. And his father encouraged him. And I also found some of the Salaf, they used to give their kids as well. They would reward them for memorizing. Even Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, gave the teacher, when his son memorized Surah Al-Fatiha, a young boy. And he said, that's too much. How can you give him that much? He said, no, the khair that he's giving my son from memorizing the Quran. We need the Quran in our lives. The Quran, inshallah, will protect us. The Quran will bring the ummah back where it needs to be, inshallah ta'ala. We need to teach our children, what does it mean to be a Muslim? What is Islam? Huh? These questions I'm throwing at you, it might seem like basic stuff, but wallahi, so many of the Muslims don't know it. So many Muslims now, you see them talking about Islam, talking to non-Muslim about Islam. What does Islam mean? What's the famous definition we have nowadays? I'm talking about the correct one. Peace, brother. Islam means peace. So, and the media doesn't mean peace. It doesn't look like peace to me. I'm confused. Is that the meaning of Islam? It means peace? It means submission, as the little brother here said. Total submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It leads you to peace. Islam is a religion of peace. It wants to have peace upon earth by worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having good on earth and forbidding the munkar, the evil upon earth. So Islam does want peace. It calls the peace. But the meaning of the word Islam is submission. So what does it mean? You talk to your children. What does it mean to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? To submit to His command. To stay away from what you're supposed to stay away from. These are the meanings that we need to focus on teaching our children. The importance of akhlaq, once again. coming back to the importance of akhlaq. What is the status of akhlaq, of manners in Islam? What's the status of it? Huh? Very high. Give me an example. How is it so high? Mumtaz. Now look, how old are you, mashallah? 14. He's 14. He probably learned that when he was younger. How does that affect someone when they're young? Have good manners. The heaviest thing in my scale, Yawm al-Qiyamah, is going to be my good manners. The Prophet ﷺ said we can reach the level of who? By our good manners. The one who is fasting during the day, praying throughout the night. Manzilat as-sa'im al-qa'im. Through our good manners. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِيُتِمِّمْ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. That I was sent to perfect the good manners. Sent to perfect good manners. Look at the status of akhlaq in Islam. From one of the most things that will enter you into the Jannah, your akhlaq, your good manners. We need to teach our children this, and we must say again and again, the key thing is them seeing it in us as we raise our children. Them seeing it in us. The terrible teens. You guys are troublemakers, man, you teenagers, man. Bad guys, huh? And the brothers here, he's next to his son's like, yeah. They drive us crazy, don't the teens, huh? But it's natural, we say. That's the stage where they're changing. We have to know how to deal with the teens. How to deal with them when they're changing. How do we deal with them? How can we deal with them? Who can tell me? What do we need to do for the teens? How can we protect them, protect their deen? It's a jungle out there. Alhamdulillah, it's beautiful inside here. Step outside. Alhamdulillah, it's raining now, so that's kind of good and it's windy. But then, nonetheless, you'll see some crazy stuff in the summertime, won't you? Some serious fitna. How can we help them? What can we do for them? First of all, we need to understand that that's a stage they're going to go through. It's going to be a difficult stage. But it's not an excuse to let them do what they want or to drift away. But there are going to be changes. It's no longer going to be explained to them 100% do like when they were young. Still, inshallah, they'll do it if they were trained properly at a young age. But nonetheless, at this stage, we need to explain to them why. Some of the wisdoms behind it. We train them from a young age, for example, when it comes to controlling your desires. Is that important for the teens or not? This is the guys get scared. Come on, you guys are young teenagers, man. Come on, man. Or older teenagers. Is it important to be able to control your desires? You're going to fall into a lot of fitna, a lot of problems if you can't control your desires. From a young age, how should we teach our children? What are some of the things we teach them from a young age, from Islam? When you see a girl, he's young, he's like, ew, I don't like girls, you know. But we teach him from a young age. When you see a girl, what do? What are you supposed to do, Lower your gaze. From a young age. Don't wait till he gets old and he doesn't say ooh anymore when he gets older, He changes. But from a young age, we teach him you have to lower your gaze. It's haram to look at a woman. And he sees his father, you see somebody, don't look, son. Lower your gaze. Astaghfirullah, Yeah, this is the mushkil, is the problem. He sees astaghfirullah. It might be difficult for you too, but don't forget, you're getting ajr for training your son as well. You're teaching him. So astaghfirullah. And then he sees it, he gets from a young age, astaghfirullah. Mixing, the free mixing, ikhtilat. From a young age, it's halal for him to go into the sister's side. But we teach him, haram. You go to the sister's side, it's not good. You're a man. You're supposed to be with the men on the men's side. Teach him this from a young age. Then when he starts to get older, then you teach him why. Why some of these things are haram. Why do you lower your gaze? Why don't you mix? Why don't you hang out with the opposite gender? Why don't you drink alcohol? Alcohol, you see he's young, haram, it's enough. But everybody's doing it, right? What are some of the ill effects of this? The ill effects of making zina. Now the kids at this age, especially in the days we live in, it's important they understand why. Teach them the wisdom behind why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made certain things haram and made certain things halal. We need to find for our youth halal ways of having fun. This is one of the biggest things that we face in the West. One of the biggest obstacles, and I'm not talking about this masjid here because I don't know what you guys have, but one of the biggest obstacles I find when I travel around the world in general, and the Western world in particular, the biggest obstacles we have in front of our youth is the Masjid. Because we're on the old school mentality, which is the Masjid is a place for worship, for a lecture, but they don't have fun. Kids want to have fun. So we need to have, even if it's not in the Masjid, rent a hall for them, do whatever you do. They need to have halal ways of having fun. You guys have football leagues and stuff like that for the guys here? Huh? No? I don't see any. There's no football league, like Muslim football leagues? Huh? That's it, table tennis? No, but this type of thing you need to have, table tennis, whatever it is, where they can come together and keep good company, to be in a good crowd. I saw the brothers in Canada, they have NBA. What is NBA? Muslim Basketball Association, where the Muslims come together and they play basketball together. Same thing here with football. Martial arts, beneficial things for the kids. Get them involved in these things so they have all this energy they have as teens. Let them put it into something positive by learning martial arts or what have you, to be in a good crowd. This is very, very important, and this is one of the key ways that we're going, inshallah, to protect our teens. Also, one of the key things is when it comes to getting married. What is the good age to get married? Brothers, he's on point, mashallah, may Allah bless him. He's 16. Huh? Because that's what they're thinking about. Wallah, if you read the message, I showed you guys the pictures, right? I'll show the picture of my youngest son. He's like, by the way, I didn't know he spoke English until we started on this WhatsApp group. Because I never heard him speak English in my life, mashallah. So all of a sudden he's writing to me in English. I'm like, that's pretty good, mashallah. So I said, how does this picture make you feel? He said, it makes me feel happy inside, it makes me feel good, it makes me say, mashallah, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I was like, mashallah, and his English is getting good, mashallah. The older one, what does he say? He said, it really teaches me that I need to get a wife. Huh? He's joking, right? He's joking, but that's what he's thinking about. I know that. At the age of 18, alas, bombs are going off inside. But what happens now, the parents, and go back to what I said in the beginning, that the parents are from a different planet. No. You need to be a doctor. You need to be an engineer. You need to study. Until how old? 25, 26, 27. So what's happening now? We're delaying something and we're making him fall into something that's abnormal. It's not natural. You must have sabr. Sabr has limits, bro. You know? You're married. He sees you and mom, mashallah. Yeah? You have your thing, mashallah. But you don't have sabr. Huh? And don't forget, the society is different now. Every day he goes out, he's seeing some things you didn't see when you were that age. Wherever you lived, you didn't see those things. Things are getting crazy nowadays. And only a little bit and there won't be anything that they're wearing out there. It's a fitna. Abnormal. At that age, that when they hit that 17, 18, they're going crazy. If you have the ability to help your children get married young, don't delay. This nonsense about being a doctor, wallah, he'll be a doctor. She'll be a doctor. His wife can be a doctor too, inshallah. No problem. If you have, wallah, I saw something beautiful. One of my students, their sister, she actually studies here in the UK now, mashallah. She was, it's okay, British football, I ain't gonna say nothing else, man. Huh? LS55 TKC, move car. Huh? If that's you, your car is blocking somebody, huh? All right, I need to repeat it again, or you know your number? If you told me, I don't know what my number is, to be honest with you. I have no idea. Huh? So they could have put the car type, because I have no idea what my license plate number is. So if that's you, 555, or LS555, huh? TKC, please move your car, inshallah. Tayyib. This beautiful story, a revival of the sunnah, that these parents, alhamdulillah, they're okay, they're well off, alhamdulillah. They're not poor. They sat down together and they said, look, you're paying for your son to go to university, I'm paying for my daughter. Why not get them married? Why not help one of them? They study university, they're married. We're paying the same thing. You pay for their fees, I pay for my daughter's fees, you pay for the son's fees. The rent will go half-half, because we're going to rent anyways. Or if you have the house, they can have one bedroom. They don't need that much. and let them get married. Alhamdulillah. 18, he was 19. They got married, they're studying, doing well in their studies. Alhamdulillah. This is the natural thing. We have to realize in Ummah, one of the biggest mistakes we've made with our youth, and the young guys get happy. When they go home to the brothers like, no, it's not proper. No, 25, 26. I was 25. It's not natural. It's not natural for them to have to refrain. And what's going to happen, if they don't have strong deen, or their deen is, they're going to fall into haram. And you're the one making them fall into haram. Guys, you're telling them, don't do that which is natural. Don't do that which is natural. Swim in the water, but don't play with it. Or go in the water, but don't swim. Don't touch the water. Come on. It's a big fitna that they're living. We have to understand this reality, and we have to change this mentality. If we want to help our children from falling into that which is haram, then we need to find halal ways for them. Come together and do what you can. If you don't have the ability, you don't have the ability. You say, bro, you gotta fast. Man, I don't have it. Huh? You gotta fast. I don't have the money. But if you have the ability, it doesn't have to be rich. Inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide for him and open up. So these are one of the key things that we need for our youth, is to help them as well get married. Understand what they're going through, understand the difficulty. And one of the key things that I always advise myself and the parents of, at the stage of being a teenager, when they start to get older, the role of the parent changes. In the beginning, you're an instructor. Do, don't, do, don't. They get a little bit older, you start to explain to them why. You still might be a little, a little rough. But when they start to get older, does it work? I'll put you over my knee. You're looking up to him. He's bigger than you now, huh? He's going to the gym. Huh? You probably could take him out. He probably wouldn't hit you, none of it. But nonetheless, it's not going to work. You're not going to take an 18-year-old boy and put him over your knee. So what's going to happen? The foundation you built for him, and then you become what? Become what? What is the relationship between you and your son when he becomes 18, 17, 16? Huh? Friends. You become friends. This is so, so important, that you and your son become friends. He needs to have somebody to talk to. He's having a problem. He's facing it. He needs to be able to come to his friend, his father. Not be, oh, haram. No, you're bad. No, khalas. Talk to me about it. Let's see if we can help you with the problem you're going through. Have him be able to open up to you. Let him know you understand what he's going through. Be on the same planet with him. Open up with him. This is very, very important. Hang out with him. Chill out with him. Be friends with your son. This is one of the key things. So they find the security of home, to be able to return to the parents, be able to return to his father. The sisters with their daughters. She's having a problem. She's having this. She needs to be able to come to her mother. We need to be open up for our children. Understand the stage they're going to. It's difficult. And try to help them, like I said, when it comes to halal means of having fun. Halal means to have activities that are beneficial for them. And inshallah to help them, inshallah ta'ala, when it comes to being able to get married. Anything else we can do for the teens? What else do they need? What else can we do for them? That's it? Is that enough? These are the key things, honestly. These are the key things that we need to focus on, is helping them establish the deen, learn the foundation. But once again, I repeat time and time again that it all goes back to the foundation. A question that comes now. Those of you who didn't do it right from the beginning, who didn't build the proper foundation, how can we fix it? Is it fixable? Is it possible? Huh? Is it possible? You sure? It is possible. It's more difficult, no doubt, but it's possible. Don't forget that the Sahaba, when did they become Muslim? How old were they? All of them were like Ali ibn Abi Talib, 10 years old, and mashallah, grew up with the Prophet ﷺ. Most of them were the same age as the Prophet ﷺ, some older, some younger. They were old, they were set in their ways. They were mushrikeen, worshipping other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of them had a lot of bad characteristics, but they came and they changed. They came and they changed. So change is always possible. And once again, the change comes back to you. If you're going to change something, you have to change within yourself. And then come and start to teach your children after that. And let them see the change that happened to you. Let them see the effect of the iman, the effect of the obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has changed your life, and then you change them, inshallah ta'ala. So we need to make that change, inshallah ta'ala. I want to point out some of the other things I want to point out when it comes to some of the things that we need to teach our children. I said we had 18 points. We're not going to be able to finish all of them, but we'll mention some of them. When it comes to even the appearance, the appearance of our children, how they dress, how they look, is that something important? Huh? Very important. Subhanallah. Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he mentioned something very important. We need to pay attention to this. And that is the tashabbuh, the imitation of the non-Muslims and the outward appearance. He said it leads to the imitation inside. When you act like somebody outside, what's going to happen inside? Think about that. Now, if one of our youth was walking around with his pants falling off, hanging down, very similar to when he was younger, a baby, but there was something else in the pants that made it fall down then, But now it looks very similar, like, is it or is it not? And he's walking, he's got his hat on the side, he's walking like this, you know. What's that going to do inside? Let's be honest. That appearance that you're dressing like, walking like you're crippled, popping back up, I don't know where that came from. They say it's cool, anyways. So how is this going to affect the inside? Is it going to affect or not? It's going to have an effect. So the appearance is important. Not necessarily that all of a sudden he has to wear this all the time, but the dress that he wears, say, look, that's not proper, Islamically. How do we dress as Muslims? How should we dress? Now, let me see if you can do it, alhamdulillah. Maybe in Birmingham, though, you guys are different. You guys have a different here. This street out here, the first time I came through, mashallah, tabarakallah. The amount of thobes that I saw in qamis, and beards, and niqabs, like 1 month in a Muslim country, you wouldn't see that much. It took 5 minutes I drove through. I said, mashallah. I wrote about it on the internet. I went home, told my family. I said, Birmingham. I said, that's something else, mashallah, tabarakallah. I've never seen that, man. Mashallah. So you guys, it's okay for you guys. Maybe elsewhere it might be a little bit different. This is good, obviously. And I saw from my hotel room, as I'm sitting there and working on my work, a lot of people in thobes walk by, mashallah. So it's good. You can wear that. And no doubt that's better if you can, because that shows right away you're Muslim. And one of the things that does, when you wear this, what does it do? Does it protect you? Can it protect you, this? From what? Sunlight. Okay, alhamdulillah. You know, won't get skin cancer, inshallah. That's good. How else can it protect you? Let's be honest. How many people go to the nightclub in this? Seriously. Maybe Halloween, they might say, okay, maybe it's meant to do it. But no, I'm sorry, you can't come in here. It's not for you. And he's not going to go. Even he said it would be disrespectful to my deen to go like this. But when it comes to all the things, teach them how we need to dress, how we need to look. Looking good. When it comes to the hair, how should our hair be as Muslims? We have all of it in the Sunnah. We need to train our kids from a young age. Don't forget that it's okay to look good. We don't have to look rough as Muslims. Have a rough attire. One of the Sahaba came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said that one of us likes to have a nice qamis and nice shoes. And because he thought inside, maybe heard from some of the other Sahaba, that this is not from how the Muslim should be. The Muslim maybe should be rough. So that's what he thought. What did the Prophet ﷺ reply to him? Inna Allah jamilun yuhibbul jamal. That verily Allah is beautiful, He loves beauty. He loves it when we look good. Another hadith that Allah loves to see the athar of the ni'mah, the effect of the blessing He's put upon you. He likes it when we look good, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to a Muslim to look good, to be clean. How was the Prophet ﷺ when he took care of himself? His hygiene. How was the Prophet ﷺ? Always using miswak, always making sure he smelled good. This is how the Muslim should be. We should always look good. The appearance. But the key thing when it comes to the appearance is that how it affects us inside. The way we dress, the way we act. When it comes to the hair, what did the Prophet ﷺ say about the hair? Who has hair, what does he need to do with it? Take care of it. Man kana indahu sha'r falyakrimhu. Whoever has hair takes care of it. You want to grow your hair long? Bismillah, take care of it. Don't come looking like you're coming out of the bush or something like that, like a madman. You gotta be combed, let go of it. If you can't take care of it, shave it off. Right? And the one who shaves it off, pay attention to this, my dear brothers. How are we supposed to shave our hairs as Muslims or cut it? Pay attention to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, إحلقه كله أو أتركه كله. Shave it all off or leave it all. Not these different levels, the Marines or whatever it is, or the fades, the hip hop, whatever you're doing. It's not Islamic. Have one level of hair, long or short, whatever you're going to do with it. This is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So we need to do, because this also affects us as Muslims. You have your identity as a Muslim. When it comes to the beard, why do we grow our beards as Muslims? Why did the Prophet ﷺ grow his beard? From a young age, we teach them. And when they get older, we teach them the importance of these things, because we have an identity as Muslims. We're proud of who we are. We're proud of who we are. We're proud of as Muslims. And we show it in our actions. Also, we need to prepare our children for the future. Get them ready from a young age to be responsible. As Muslims, we have a problem. We spoil our children too much. We're very protective of our children. We like to take care of our children. We like to do everything for our children. We have to teach them how to rely on themselves and depend on themselves from a young age. Teach them how to be responsible. They have a beautiful thing. I don't know if you guys have the same thing in the UK. I just learned this, that mashallah, my wife had a baby in Ireland. And when we went to do the birth certificate, they said, what is her job? So we said her job is a housewife. Like, I guess that's old school in Ireland. They don't use that anymore. So they have a new name for her now. What do you know what it is? Homemaker. And I was like, that's really cool. I like that. That sounds really good. Homemaker, huh? That's cool. You guys don't have the same thing in the UK? Because usually Ireland, they take it from the UK, so that's probably where you got it from, huh? Homemaker. How about that? How do we teach our little daughters to be homemakers? Because unfortunately now, we don't raise them correctly, they become to be home wreckers later, huh? It's the problem. Seriously. What is our goal as Muslims? What are we going to do when they become older? Where's the little guys, middle age? What are you going to do in a few years, man? What's your goal? What's your goal? No, this guy here. He's a little bit older. What are your goals now? You want to study? What are you going to do? You're not going to study? You're not going to university? Oh, his dad's looking like, you better go to university, huh? You better be a doctor, engineer. Because we can only be doctors and engineers as Muslims, by the way. We have no other future. Our youth, they're like, no, engineer, doctor. That's the only choice we have as Muslims. So you want to study, right? After you study, hopefully before you study, what else are you going to do? You're going to get married, have children, be a good Muslim, come to the Masjid. MashaAllah, so this is something that it's programmed in our minds as Muslims what we're going to do. It's programmed in our minds, this is what we're going to do. So we need to teach them at a young age, how do you be responsible? How can he be responsible as a young man? How can he be the head of a household? How can our young sister be a homemaker? Teach them from a young age. Teach them responsibilities. When they come home, say, mashallah, who cooked the lunch today? Your little daughter, she cooked it for you. To teach them from a young age, to take part in the household chores and all that. It's very, very important to train them from a young age for the future of what they need to be doing. When it comes to the physical things for our children, we mentioned before, we need to teach them to take care of their health. A lot of the problems that we're finding nowadays is the issues of the health, especially when they get older. And I wouldn't be surprised in the future if we find a lot of the foods that we look as being halal tayyib today as being ruh or khabith in the future. Because these foods are killing us. And also the issue of being active, teaching them how to be active. SubhanAllah, I remember that one of the sheikhs, when a new school was being opened, Islamic school, he was asked, because he's a sheikh and also he specializes in education, what should we do about the PE, the physical education? You guys call it PE in the UK as well? Huh? Okay. So the PE, what do we do about that? What do we teach them? So the sheikh, look at what he said. He said, well, we could teach them and let them play football like everybody else. And he said that could be beneficial for them in the future because it'll make their legs very strong. So if the enemy ever comes, they can run very fast and get away. Huh? Or you can teach them something that's productive. Something that's good for them. It teaches them discipline. It teaches them to be able to defend themselves, defend their families. Martial arts. Because one of the key things about martial arts is not to be able to beat somebody up. That's not the goal of martial arts. What do they tell you, the sensei or whatever, in the beginning? Huh? Don't use this at home, huh? What do they tell you, right? They tell you it's not to be used. It's to be able to control yourself. And this is the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What did he say, alayhi salatu wasalam? لَيْسَ الشَّدِيدُ بِالسُّرْعَةِ وَإِنَّمَا الشَّدِيدُ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. That the one who is strong is not the one who can wrestle somebody and beat somebody up. The strong one is the one who can control himself. But if you need to defend yourself, alhamdulillah, you have the tools to do it. So they took that advice in this Muslim school. And when they went from grade 1, 2, 3, 4, and they got up to 6, mashallah, tabarakallah, in grade 6, these students knew 3 languages. 3 languages. The kids, they have so much ability. We don't benefit from their ability, wallahi. They knew their mother tongue. They knew English, because they're studying British curriculum. And they knew the language of the Quran and the Sunnah of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Grade 6. But what else did they know? A large amount of them have memorized the Quran completely. Memorized the entire Quran. And 8 of them had reached the level of being black belts. 6 of them, girls. Pay attention, brothers, who you marry later on, huh? Know her background well, huh? 6 of them, girls, black belts, grade 6. Look at this. They memorized the Quran. They're physically well. And the same batch of students, a year or 2 ago, the highest grades in the world, British curriculum, came back to the kids in this school. From them, some of our sisters who had 100%. I taught British curriculum for a long time. I didn't know you could get 100%. I thought you could get, you can get A stars. But 100%. The kids have so much ability. We need to take care of this ability to help them benefit. One of my students, mashallah, he could stand here right before you now. And the same guy whose sister got married, mashallah, at a young age. Very beautiful family who was serious about the deen of their children and the dunya of their children. Mashallah, tabarakallah. What happened now, when he was young, we started teaching him how to do public speaking. We took him with some brothers taught him, they were teaching him how to be like, doing like this and these movements. I said, let him be like himself, yahi. Let him say what he wants. He got to the point where he's able to get up now without preparing and give you a khutbah. Probably better than my khutbah, mashallah. He's a little guy, mashallah. He's good at his stuff. When he did his exams last year for the GCSE, 8 subjects. What did he get? 8 A stars. In sports, he was so good in cricket that from the national teams, from India and Pakistan, both of them wanted to play for their teams. Because his mother was Pakistani, his father was Indian. So each one's pulling him that way. No, you're with us. Want them to play for them. So mashallah, the kids have the ability to do so much. We need this energy they have and this ability they have, we need to put it into something that is positive. Building the foundation, my brothers, as we're about to end now, inshallah. Remember, every action that you do in your household, it's either building your children positively or negatively. You have to pay attention to that. You're either building something positive or negative. We need to remember these reminders that we heard tonight and to put them into action. Reviving the Quran, reviving the Sunnah in our household, teaching them about the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so they can feel it in their hearts. They see it in your heart and it affects them. You teach them about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Teach them his Sunnah. Let them see it in your actions. Remind them, remind yourself. Make your houses houses of barakah, houses of blessing. And wallahi, if we all do this, all of us start from today to make this commitment to fix ourselves and to fix our household, to work on our children, raising our children, the ummah inshallah will come back to its majd. It will come back to its prime, to being khayra ummah ukhruj lin-nas, the best of ummah sent forth to people. Nowadays, we give da'wah. You guys have da'wah tables here, right? And we give people, and they read about Islam, and they say, mashallah, tabarakallah. They say, this looks good, They take about the book, and they're like, oh, mashallah. It sounds good, but they look at us. It's not the same. It's different. These guys got some issues, man. The book sounds good. I could believe this is the origin of truth. But why didn't it affect the Muslim? So why leave my religion to go there? We need to be role models. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us in these communities. We have something beautiful, which is our religion, that we need to share with others. They need to see the effect on us first. We need to clean our house before we show it to them. We need to focus on cleaning our house. Now they come and look at our house is dirty. Mean our house, mean our actions, who we are as Muslims. We need to fix this so we can be positive role models for the community that we live in and show them the khayr, the blessing, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us through Islam, and Allah knows best. Allahu a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa jazakumullahu khair. There's still a lot left, inshallah, but hopefully, inshallah, it was beneficial in what was said. Like we said, alhamdulillah, this is a unique conference, and alhamdulillah, I was very glad I was able to take part in this, because not just lectures, it's seminars. So when you do a seminar, you can go in more detail, but nonetheless, the topics that we have, it's very, very in-depth. It needs to be talked about more. But hopefully, inshallah, what I said, there was benefit. Inshallah, it benefited you. Alhamdulillah, it was a reminder for myself as well. If there's anything beneficial that I said, it was from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If there's any mistakes that I said, it was from myself and the shaitan. And Allah knows best. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa jazakumullahu khairan.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم